Hello and welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at how you can get up and running with Anthropic's Claude API using Go. And honestly, it's a lot simpler than you might think. So let's dive right in. We're going to be covering two things within this tutorial, one of which is sending a single message to Claude and getting a response back. And then the second is building a proper multi-turn conversation where the model actually remembers what you said earlier. Now, both of these are the foundation for pretty much any AI-powered tool you'd want to build, whether that's a CLI assistant, a code reviewer, a documentation generator, or whatever. So let's dive in. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to head over to platform.claude.com and open up the API keys section on the left-hand sidebar. Now you're going to want to create a key and keep it handy somewhere where you can copy and paste it into your terminal. Don't share this with anyone. Obviously, you don't want people to be using your Claude usage billing allowance, so keep it private, don't share it. So once you've got your super secret key, go into the terminal and you want to export it as Anthropic API key. So now that we've got this in place, first thing we want to do within our application is to fetch this key from the environment. So we're going to call it os.getEnv, and then we're going to pass in the name of the environment variable, so Anthropic API key. And then let's throw in a conditional that says if the API key is equal to an empty string, let's do log.fatal, Anthropic API key environment variable is not set. Perfect. We'll save that and it should automatically import the new packages that we are now depending on. In the spirit of iterative development, let's go into the terminal and see if this runs now. So go run /. And you can see that the conditional wasn't met and we weren't logging this out. So it's been picked up and we're good to go. So now onto the fun part. We're going to create the client that's going to allow us to communicate with the Anthropic APIs. And we're going to call it client, super obvious, Anthropic.newClient. And we're going to pass an option with API key. And we're going to use this API key variable that we've just defined above. Now, perfect. That's complaining. Let's go do a go get .. And it should pull in the dependencies to this project, and you can see that this red squiggly line is no longer angry at us. And now onto the moment of truth. Let's send our first message. So we're going to do response or error is equal to client.messages.new. We're going to pass the background context, not to do, background. And we're going to pass in the Anthropic message params. So Anthropic.message params. We want to use model, so let's use the Anthropic.model Claude, and you can choose whatever one you want really here. At the time of recording this, Opus 4.7 is the latest, so let's pick this one. Probably the most expensive one too, but oh well. And then let's limit the max tokens to 256. And then the message that we're going to send, or the messages, is going to be a slice of type Anthropic message param, and it's going to be Anthropic.new user message, and then Anthropic.new text block, and Anthropic.new text, and this will take in what is the Go programming language best known for. Cool. And let's fix the typo that we have there. Anthropic. Perfect. And then just underneath this, we can check the error. So if error does not equal nil, let's do log.fatal. Failed to send message to Claude. And otherwise, let's print out the response. So fmt.println response, and we'll see what we get. So let's open up the terminal and do go run /. And we're just going to effectively vomit the entire response structure from Claude out into our terminal. And you can see things like the text from the response. So concurrency, why do we like Go? Oh, it's concurrent, it's simplistic and readable, fast compilation, and it's got high performance, which is great. So it's answered our question. We've got a really nice answer back from Claude. So there's a few things to point out here before we move on. For the new message params, or the message new params up here, we have a couple of fields. So we've got the model, which is fairly obvious. It equates to what model you want to use to compute your response. We've got max tokens, which we've set to 256. Now, this effectively caps how long the response can be. The tokens are roughly equivalent to words, so 256 is fine for a short answer, but for something like generating code or writing documentation, you'd want to push this up significantly. And then finally, we've got the messages slice. Now, it's a key thing to point out that this is a slice. Now, even for a single question, you're passing a list, and that's because the API is built around having a conversation history from the ground up, and we're going to explore this a little bit more in just a moment. Okay, so before we move on, let's parse out the response a little bit nicer. So we're going to opt for a for loop. So for the block in range response.content, let's do a switch B, and then we're going to typecast this as any type, and then we're going to say case Anthropic text block. Let's fix the typo. We're going to print out the text block. So b.text, text, like so. Let's rerun this once again, and hopefully I've still got some usage. Give it a second to load. And we should see just the text output from this call to the client, which is perfect. Now, the reason we're doing this complex switch logic is the response content is a slice of blocks that are not just string. So Claude can return text, tool calls, or thinking blocks all mixed together. So this is effectively us filtering only for the text from the response. Okay, so let's make things a little bit more interesting and move on to multi-turn conversations. Now this is where things get genuinely useful. A single question is fine, but for most real applications, you need a little bit back and forth. Now think a CLI tool that refines its output based on your feedback, or an assistant that maintains context across a whole session. So let's start off by defining the history. So history is equal to a slice of Anthropic dot message param. We'll keep that there. And then we're going to define turns. So turns is a slice of string. And let's say, tell me one reason Go is a good fit for building AI tooling. And let's do a second one. So can you give me a short code example in Go? Cool. So what we effectively want to do is to send a request for each of these turns. So let's say user text in range turns. And then let's wrap the response, or the fetching of the response, in this new block. We'll save this. It should auto indent. Oh, because we've got a typo. Save that. And then what we want to do is we want to effectively append each of these questions to the history slice that we have here. So let's do that now. So history is equal to append history Anthropic dot new user message Anthropic dot new text block, and then we pass in the user text like so. Cool. So the first time we run this, the history will then be, tell me one good reason Go is a good fit for building AI tooling. Now, what we then want to do is to make sure that this history is getting passed in the messages slice. So let's remove what we've got here hard-coded, pass in history, if we can type correctly. And let's also, whilst we're here, bump up the max tokens to 512. Now, we'll also want to append the response that we get back from the client to the history. So let's do that now. So we're going to start by creating a new assistant text string variable. And then in the for loop that we have here, we effectively want to say assistant text is equal to b.text, like so. Once we've got that, right below it, we want to append this to the history. So append history Anthropic.newAssistant message. So that's subtly different from the new user message that we have up here. And then we want to Anthropic.newUser and new text block, sorry. And then pass in assistant text like so. Okay, so this should be as good to go for a multi-turn conversation. Now, one thing to notice is we're passing the full history slice every time, not just the latest message. Now, this is exactly how Claude remembers what was said earlier. The model has no persistent memory between API calls, so you're effectively responsible for keeping track of the conversation and sending it back each time to Claude. It sounds like a little bit extra work, but it actually gives you complete control. You can edit history, summarize it, inject context, whatever you really need. Now, let's add something I totally didn't forget, which is to output the response from Claude. So Claude, we'll do the string and the new line, and we'll do b.text. And we can even be a little bit fancier and do print line. And let's do just to show that we have two distinct responses. Let's go into the terminal, go run /. And if we're lucky, we should see two back and forth calls to Claude via the client. And each time the history is getting appended with the response from the previous calls, which is very cool. And yep, we can see that now. And you can see the output. So every time for each of the two turns that we've had, it's had two distinct answers from Claude. Cool, so that's all we're going to cover in this video. And that should be all you genuinely need to start building with Claude in Go. Now, we covered two patterns, the single turn for quick tasks, so one-off for calls with responses, and then we've covered the multi-turn approach, which is effectively building context every time you get responses back from Claude and storing a bit of history. Now, these two patterns should effectively compose into basically anything that you'd want to make. Now, that's all. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more. And I'll leave a link to the code and the tutorial, the text version of this tutorial in the description below.